Welcome back. It's the bumper breakfast. You probably have heard my guest was chipping in something that we're always talking about things that are not important.
Because things that are not important are actually important to a lot of people. Important. And people make issues out of it. You know, we spend so much time discussing
talking about it.
But if you don't talk about it, people are going to have the wrong impression. That's
the truth.
We forget the real issues.
Exactly. This is the last day of campaigning, as it were, because on Saturday, everyone, and I mean everyone who has a PVC, you must step out. No excuses. Get out there and vote your conscience. The president has said that. Joining us this morning is a lawyer, Mr. Kurtis Adigba. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having
me. And I'm sure
me.
you're ready. Your PVC is ready. You'll be voting on Saturday.
I check it every minute to be sure that
to see that it's not missing.
Yes.
As it were.
You know, 2 nights ago, my husband went back into his drawer and he brought out his voter's card, and he came to the living room and he was
polishing it.
And I had to ask him, what are you doing? He said, I'm polishing my card. I want to confirm that number. I want to check. So he started doing all sort of things. I had a good laugh, really.
So let's look at the development and what's going to happen on Saturday. How enthusiastic do you think that people are to step out and vote?
I think people are prepared.
Very prepared? After what happened last Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, you know, like I say to people, there is no athlete who would take 4 years to prepare for a race. And just because it's postponed for 1 week, we abandon our preparations.
Then you lose hope.
I think people are dogging more. They are prepared on both sides. And I think people will turn out to vote.
Let's talk about that directive, or what it is, the order that the president gave. And people are just, reading all sorts of meaning into it. I don't think that the president will come out to ask the army to shoot at anyone. He only said, look, if you're going to snatch the ballot, which is what people were always doing in all of the elections, why do you think that people are misunderstanding what it is that the president said?
Because that's what they want to do. They want to muddy the water, clean waters. They want to erode confidence in the democratic process, and they want to corrode the infrastructure of our democracy. They tell one lie after the other, and nobody's calling them out on these lies.
But why will anyone want to tell a lie?
Because it's in their nature to lie. That's part of their strategy. Let me give you an example. When armed robbers go to rob in the bank, they don't go there with ice cream and pizza.
Why is everyone saying that?
They go there with guns.
And match it.
When people go to snatch ballot papers or ballot boxes, they don't go there greeting people and say, "Oh, now well done." They go there armed, so they are armed robbers. But you know what they are stealing is not money, but the collective destiny and the will of the Nigerian people. And you know why it's attractive? Because the provision of the Electoral Act is so weak. And when you succeed in snatching the ballot box and get your people elected into power, you don't face any consequence. And even if you have to face any consequence, it's only 2 years or a fine of 1 million.
Which you're paid for.
Or a fine of 1 million. But then you have sent the entire population into jail. For jail of undevelopment for a long time. Just like I say to people, you're talking about insecurity. Some pastors will come and say, look, I prefer the man who will come and steal my money than the one who will cut off my head. He lacks understanding of basic truth. Insecurity is as a result of corruption. Do you understand?
Right.
And I can tell you sitting here that corruption, more people have died from corruption in Nigeria than insecurity.
Now let's even look at that corruption that you're talking about. A lot of people have said that the present administration only mouthed the fight against corruption to come to power, and they've not been able to show anything for the fight against corruption.
That's another side of the argument.
Okay.
The most popular one is that the government is selective
in fighting corruption. Fighting its enemies alone.
And my simple answer is this. The act itself, corruption, is selective. So in dealing with it, government must select those who were involved in corruption. Government will not sit down and distribute trial for corruption on zonal basis, like we want to do for everything in this country. If he was not in government and saw it at our hands, why would he be picked up? And then if the argument is that there are some people that we suspected to have corrupted themselves or perpetrated the act of corruption while they were in government, why are they not on trial? My simple answer is there is no system in this world that can put everybody on trial at the same time. Let's not forget that those that are facing trial now did not even commit the acts under this government. And so if your fear is that this government, is trying to protect its own people, don't worry. This government will not be in power forever. No, another government is going to come.
So when they come,
and there is no time against prosecution. All we need to do is to get the fight to keep going. You understand? Nobody will escape from the dragnet of the Nigerian people. We will bring justice to everyone.
Let's look at this fight against corruption at the tip of your fingers. Can you give us 5 persons, real persons who have been involved in corruption that this government has actually brought to book?
Well, when you say brought to book, what do you really mean?
They've really paid for the crime.
Because don't forget that
the yams have been collected back. They vomited all the yams they ate.
Yes.
They're in prison and may languish there for the rest of their lives. Can you give us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 persons?
Let me tell you, it is not the function of the government to jail people. It is the function of the government to arrange
government, it's
people.
A chain.
Yeah, I'm coming. See, the executive has the function of the executive is to implement the law. They don't interpret the law.
Whatever the police does, whatever the judiciary does, everything, the buck stops on the table of the president.
No, it doesn't. You see, let me see. Administratively, for the powers that the president has got, is responsible for that. You don't blame the president for how a state governor spends the funds of the state. Do you blame the president for that?
Why not?
Why would you blame the president?
Why not?
When you are the one saying we have a system of government.
Is it not from the federal that they get all the votes, they get the security vote, the money they get to run the state?
The president,
wouldn't you give a feedback?
The president is not the account officer of the state. The president does not tell the governor how he spends the funds of the state. The president does not tell the governor who he appoints as an interim chairman of local government.
So why will
in the constitution, is there a provision that says that the state governor reports back to the president?
No, there's nothing. There's nothing like that.
So why will the president
in his own state? That's what the constitution says.
He's the chief executive of the state.
So he is not responsible.
No, this is not a military government.
So why would the president go to a state to campaign for votes and expect the governor of that state to deliver votes for him during an election? If I'm not responsible to you, then why not allow me choose who's going to succeed me?
If there's no law that says the governor of the state must campaign for the president or deliver.
But that's what's happening in Nigeria.
Where did you say that? We have seen states that the president party is not in control.
We understand that.
And he has gone there to campaign.
We
so did he compel those governors to bring votes for him?
We're not talking about compelling.
Okay, so
we're not talking about compelling. Today we look at people who are campaigning. Some are saying, look, vote for this person, but please, at the national, it is for the president. It is for a reason. But let's situate this issue of the fight against corruption. Many Nigerians have said that the government is not fighting corruption as much as they should. Why? Because they think that, because everyone's talking, the PDP ruined the country for 16 years. Half or more than half of the people in the APC are from the PDP. What do you make of that?
When you say half, give us the population of the APC and then give us the population of the PDP people that now constitute 50%.
Let's look at the ones that you know who are in the APC.
So tell me the ones that you know that are now 50% of the APC.
Okay, forget about the percentage. There are people in the government, the APC-led government, who are from the PDP.
Yes.
Everyone's looking at the PDP to say, look, this is the most corrupt, party as it were. They were there for 16 years, they ruined the country and all of that. Some of the persons in the PDP are in the APC.
Like who?
Is it to say that these parties are not different?
I think it's on both sides. There are also people who have moved from the APC to the PDP. And there are those also who have moved to the PDP, who have moved from the PDP to the APC and back to the PDP. Do you understand what I'm saying? Look, here's the problem.
So what is the project? Is Nigeria not supposed to be the project?
Let me give you a troubling analysis here.
Right.
A couple of some of the former governors, when they were in PDP and the EFCC moved against them, the PDP came out and said, oh, they are persecuting our members. This is not corruption fight. This is political persecution. But they never for once imagined that the time will come when these former governors will move to the ruling party. And now they're in the ruling party and the music has changed. You know what they are saying now? Oh, you know, these are very corrupt people, but once they change party, they become saints. The president must go after them now because he's harboring corrupt people. These were the same people you said were not corrupt when they were in your party, and that the government was persecuting them because they do a political party. Now they move into another party, they become corrupt. How do people manage these multiple conflicting views on the same issue?
So while they were here, they were deemed not corrupt.
Corrupt.
When they moved here,
they became corrupt.
Yes.
Yes.
So automatically, you're saying that there is a confusion happening amongst
Look,
the
this is the manipulation of the elite. And that is why we, the citizens who are their victims, must rise up and call for the continuance of the fight against corruption. Because they always invent reasons why the government must not fight corruption. When Obasanjo was in power, you remember he moved against the former governor of Bayelsa.
Yes.
What was the story? Yeah, they say, you know, because Alame Seha didn't want Obasanjo to take a third term. That's why he moved against him. When Jonathan moved against former governor of Delta State, Ibori, they said it was because Ibori didn't want Jonathan to become president. He was one of the people fighting against Jonathan becoming president. When the same Ibori was extradited to the United Kingdom, you did not hear such excuses or say, oh, you know, he didn't want the queen to continue to be queen. That's why they jailed him. In fact, Justice Awokunehin, sitting in Lagos here, presiding over a court where about 58 charges were preferred against Ibori, dismissed all the charges. The same Ibori went to London, just 3 or 4 charges, he got convicted. This is the story they keep telling.
So you're telling me now, from what you just said, the judiciary itself is corrupt.
But you are saying it. Are you not saying it? The NBA president is on trial for corruption. The Chief Justice of the country.
So that means we already have a systemic failure.
It's not a systemic failure. You see, when you have a system populated in majority by bad people, you're bound to have a situation like this. But then, you know, like I say to people, governing a country is not like producing popcorn. You just put it in a machine and pa, pa, pa. Real progress takes time. It's slow. It's more than days, months, sometimes more than decades.
Well,
it's even about a lifetime.
Politicians should understand that, so that when they go about campaigning, don't tell us you're going to do this, you're going to do that. A government that cannot fix power in 4 years is not supposed to be there. Vote them out and all that. You know, we had all of those things.
If elections are one-day sales,
it shouldn't be.
They are marketing, and so they have to get you. And sometimes when people, let me tell you, sometimes when people make these promises, they don't even understand the situation that is already in government. You know, you say, I'm coming to do this, I'm coming to do, and then you get to government and you find what you should then do. What you should then do to bind with the electorate is to say, listen, we promise you this. It's impossible because this is our situation. But you know what? Even when the government says so, the government that just left power will tell you, oh, they're making excuses. We left trillions of dollars for them, and they can't do anything.
All right, as we round up, we need to round up this.
As we round up, let's even put it this to him, because I know he's very sympathetic to the APC. Why should the average Nigerian step out on Saturday to keep President Muhammadu Buhari in power?
Because he's done well within the resources that is available, within the toxic environment that we have. Some Nigerians who are prepared to grind the country at all costs for selfish and personal benefits. Is done well in spite of all the difficulties that he has faced. Everybody fighting against him. His mere presence is a provocation to so many people. We live in a country where some people celebrated the fake rumor about the death of their president,
which was very wrong.
So if you expected Muhammadu Buhari to drop the moon on Lagos soil or Nigerian soil in 4 months, you are thinking of the impossible. Building a country is a gradual process. They've done well. They've dealt with, they've sent a message. I say to people that his greatest achievement in the country is not about how many people he has jailed or not, but setting the moral tone, and which is the number one job of the president to model what is right and to set out the values that are acceptable to the society. He set that moral tone that he is not a corrupt man and that he is prepared to deal with anybody. He's not a perfect man. The war against corruption is not perfect, and it will never be perfect, because anything done by human beings cannot attain perfection immediately. But I think we are on the right course, and it needs the support of all Nigerians to keep pushing forward.
There you go. Adigba. He's a lawyer, and you've heard it from him. Someone will think otherwise. I'm sure the party members or even supporters of other candidates will say, look, what is he talking about? You have the opportunity.
We'll show our scorecard.
Of course.
4 years against 16 years. Let them come.
We need to go. Let's go on this break. We'll be back. Please stay with us.
Thank you.